Hi subbies, this is Sparkle. I have a collab for you guys today, and my collab is with Mack Kitchen and Grill. Hey, I contacted him a couple weeks ago, asked him if he want to do a collab with me. He was like, sure. I'm like, oh my god. And I was like, cool. You know, I cook sometimes on camera, but he does it all the time. Y'all need to go check him out. He is amazing. But I asked him to do a one-pot meal. I don't know what meal he's doing, so it'll be a surprise to see what he does. I didn't tell him what I was doing, so of course, surprise. But the meal we're doing today is, I call it a one-pot meal, so aka a one-pot wonder. And basically, it's just a chicken fryer that I cut up. You can use pieces. Also, we're using chicken broth, can of soup. Also, we have 2 medium onions, or you just one huge large onion, and potatoes cut in very thick slices. Only difference is, where it kind of differs, I had to brown the chicken before I put it in the pot, but you don't have to. I just, how it was taught to me, but it's up to you. Don't season anything, and it just kind of all comes together. So I'll show you everything that's coming up, everything you'll use, and let's start cooking. Hope you're ready. We're gonna feed a family today, y'all. This video, you'll see in the beginning what we're using. I'm gonna brown my chicken. I'm not gonna film the whole thing. Everything is pre-prepped for sake of time for the video, but we'll kind of go from there. So let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so you need chicken pieces, potatoes, onions, cream soup, chicken broth, and flour for coating. So this is basically my layout. I kind of pre-prepped everything. These are the onions cut very thickly. Also, here's my chicken, unseasoned, like I told you, cut up in pieces. These are big pieces of potatoes cut in big pieces. Your choice of cream soups, I just put all different ones that you might want to choose from. And then, of course, finally, the chicken broth and the soup and everything together. So in this skillet, scoot it back so you can see it. It's just hot oil. I cut up a whole fryer. I did not use the back because I did not need it. So these are just the pieces from it that I just took some flour that's not seasoned. And I am going to just brown it in here because I need the brownness of this to make the gravy that I want over there. So we're just going to put it in the pot. We're not going to cook it. We're just going to brown it. No, not all the way through. Like, we're not looking for a perfect piece of fried chicken. If you want to see that, I got a video for that. You can feel free to run over and see that. Don't want to crowd the pan, so we're going to leave it at that. We still have 2 pieces in here, but we're not going to crowd it. Just want to get it brown. We're going to drain it so there's no oil at the bottom. But while you're doing that, you should be taking some potatoes, cutting them in big chunks. I will show that to you in a minute. Also, I have 2, I say medium shaped potatoes that I cut in. Onions, I'm sorry. I have 2 medium onions that I cut in thick pieces like the potatoes. And then we're going to get into the rest of it. So, I'm going to brown this and I will be back. Okay, so your chicken should look something like this. It's just a little brown. It's not. You're only using it for flavor and to make this sauce thick. So, if you want to season it, that's up to you. But because I'm using, hold on. I'm using canned soup and broth, it's going to control my salt level. So, I don't know which one I want to use yet. Well, I kind of just figured it out as I'm talking to you. So, you can choose any soup you like. Cream of mushroom, cream of celery. And these are the big cans from Walmart. They're 26 ounces. So, you need otherwise you can use 2 small cans. Whatever one works for you. But I'm using cream of chicken. And the reason why I'm using cream of chicken is because I'm going for that chicken flavor. So I'm going to use 1 can of this. And I'm not sure, depending on how much liquid that I want. Depending on how much broth or your container or whatever. I have 2 just from the Dollar Tree chicken broths. I'm going to use this for liquid. If you don't have chicken broth, it's okay. You can use water. Depending on your particular situation, just make sure it covers your chicken so far, and then your soup gets mixed in. So just remember that. So I'm browning my last 2 pieces, and then we're going to go over to the crock pot and put it together. Those are the pieces, last 2. So when we finish that, that's when we're going to go ahead on and do that. But I will show you all those components. I showed you this a little bit. I will layer it right there in front of you, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you exactly how long it took to cook. On my time, I already have it on high. My crock pot is already preheated and it's waiting on me to start, so I don't have to wait for it to start. And that's a good tip. You're gonna cook in your crock pot, whether you got a lot of time or even if you don't, you're out the door, just plug it in on low or high, whatever you're gonna use, and get it preheated just like your oven. It's the same principle. So I'm gonna finish with this, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the layering process. It's really easy, guys. That's it. It's a simple meal. Feed your whole family, and believe it or not, your whole meal is under $10. And you know that is not something that you do every day. Okay. So give me 1 minute. I'm gonna take it out. It's really hot. You're gonna even hear a sizzle. That's how hot it is. So in the bottom of this pan, this is my spatula to get my soup out. So here are those 2 medium onions that I have in here. So I'm just going to layer them in the bottom. And this is just, it's for flavor, of course, but it also keeps things from getting sticky. And if you use a regular pot on the stove, I have done this on the stove, so you hear it sizzle. It has not literally went wrong. It's up to you. This is just the way I like to do it, because I don't like to come back and stand. So inside this skillet, as you can see, skillet, inside this crock pot is just the onion. I can hear it sizzling. Here, soaking in some nice clean water, is the potatoes. Now I cut them thick because they're gonna sit on top. And I had smaller potatoes this time, so this is 8 small potatoes that I cut up very thickly. So I'm just gonna put them into the pot. Make a nice layer just like you did the onions. Just throw them off in there really neatly. You're gonna have plenty of room for the chicken, so don't worry. Just get them in there, because at this point there should be nothing else that you have to do. Your potatoes are in there, also your onions in there, and then your chicken is gonna go on the top, and then the soup is gonna flavor it, and the broth is also gonna flavor it. So for you people who, you know, anybody who's watching their salt, it's a good way to control it. So just put them on in there. And I made this so much, I know that these potatoes are actually like the right amount. So if you have I believe this is a 6-quart crock pot. So if you have one bigger, that's even better. Or smaller, just downside towards, you know, whatever size your family is. So those are the potatoes. So let's get our chicken that we just browned. So here's the chicken, and we're just gonna put him on that whole thing. Lay it on there. Get the big pieces in there. It's like a puzzle. So there's a thigh. Get it all in there. And here's the other wing. So I'm gonna get that off in there. Here's the cream of chicken that I told y'all, 26 ounces. I'm just gonna put it on the top. Kind of make sure it goes all over. I use my spatula because I'm about to get it all out, y'all. Getting it all out. Okay. And then you just want to kind of make sure it goes all over your chicken. Like so. Make sure your chicken has got enough room for it to go down the side. Okay. So you got that. And now we're going to add the chicken broth. Kind of go down the side. Y'all hear that? Gonna let that sink down and see where we're at. Okay, I still can pour. Let me check it and make sure, because I'm telling you, it's all in there. We don't want too much liquid, but we don't want too little liquid either. So, I want to kind of watch it. Because remember, we got those potatoes and that onion down there. But if my science tells me right, we should be able to get at least this whole chicken broth off in here. Yeah, it's going. We got to reach those potatoes and those onions. Okay, let me check and see where that's at. We may have to use some, but not all of the other one. Yeah, let's use a little bit more liquid. We don't need nothing dry. We don't want to overflow it either. So I don't see it yet. Okay, there we go. So, if I had to estimate, I'm going to say it took one of these. And I'll say about 1/4 cup here. Because it wasn't that much. So, once we got that, we take our lid, put it on top. Notice it's not even touching it much. So we have got it in there just right. You want to make sure your lid is solid on top. And it is hot. And it's on high. Just so you know. And hey, if you're going to work, put it in, forget it and go. Come back, put it on low. If you can go to bed at night and pre-cook it, there's no need to struggle anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You can do this very quickly. My dad calls this meal a poor man's meal. But, you know, he's been a trucker for over 40 years, so you can't go with him. But I call it a one-pot wonder. So the next time you see me, I will show you this meal plated. And you will see how awesome it is. Everything is in this pot. There's no reason for you to stress. You can pre-prep the day before. You can just get it all done. No problem. If you don't even want to cut up your own chicken, they already just put the pieces that you want off in there. It's your choice. And this works with anything. Pork, you know, whatever you want to do. Even beef. This works for beef. It's whatever you want, you know, meat you want to do. I just happen to choose chicken. So, like I said, the next time, I'll be showing it to you guys. Plate it up. Okay, so this is the finished meal. As you can see, it's boiling. It took 3 hours and on high, and that's what we got. Let me go in a little deeper so y'all can see it. And that is it. We're done. It's basically just that simple. We're done. It's thick. The juices are flavorful from that. All of that lovely, you know, condensed soup as well as our chicken flavored broth. This is the thickness I was telling y'all about that the chicken being browned will give you. That is delicious. And I already plated it so you can see it. I just sprinkled it with a little herbs so you can see the loveliness of it, so it's not so brown. And it's just the leg and the thigh and the potatoes and a little bit of the onion. Bon appetit.